Dads, Lads and Kebabs. Sponsored by Ghostalware. And now, it's Dads, Lads and Kebabs.
Boom! Welcome to another show of Dads, Lads and Kebabs. Oh, sorry, I'm not giving anything away, but...
Don't you slap me. Just don't, alright? Where you been anyway? It's been a week, Niall. How you been?
I've been fine, just fine.
He's so scared today. What's happened? Last week he was like, I'm back!
Now
He got slapped. What, by your missus?
Don't say that.
Oh, before we start, I have been looking for something for such a long time, and I have finally found it. The new Azera, Niall. New Azera.
Have you done a smell test?
It's sweet chocolate cherry notes in it. Cherry
Oh,
notes.
no.
Yes.
Smells like
They advertised that
satin
about 4 or 5 months ago. Never found it, and I saw it the other day in Tesco. So I purchased it. So.
Okay, watch the magic. Watch the magic. So today, people, there's 2 of us, right? Soon there will be 3. That's right.
3?
We got to get.
Oh yeah. Yes, we have a guest. We have the return of the Wiccan warrior, Mr. Alistair Lavender. Woo!
Hello guys, how are we doing?
There he is. How are
Alistair,
you, sir?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back on the show. I looked quickly back to see when it was that I was on the first time, and that was episode number 7.
Lucky for
You
you.
guys are on what, episode 30 something now?
Technically, we're on 43. We've had specials,
Technically,
but we're not counting.
No, good.
We're still talking.
Well, because you guys are quite. It's just you guys. I wanted to see who the list of. So since I was on, you've had Ricky Brewer on, Ryan Griffiths on, Kurt Roberts, and WLP. So I feel like a privileged member of.
And Nick.
Guest list.
And Sir Nikolai.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Stepani as well.
Mr.
Yeah,
Stepani.
can't forget Nick.
And his tight shirts.
Not unless you're actually counselling.
Yeah, you've been counselling. I forgot who that man was. Sorry, Nick. We love you.
Of course we do.
But you do need a counselling session after doing a Nick, though. Just saying.
Yeah, we do.
So, today's show, right? I'm going to kick this off there. The slapping. What is going on in the world of Mr. Will Smith and the...
Niall, I think you're jumping the gun here. We need to see how Alistair is doing.
It's
so rude, isn't he?
No, not at all.
Calm down. We'll get there in a minute. It's fine.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about Will Smith. Is he whipped or is he not whipped? I don't know.
We'll find out.
He gives the whistle.
But no, I've had quite a busy, weird, stressful 8 months. I think a lot of people have, because we've come out of lockdown, but we're still technically dealing with everything that we're still at the beginning of lockdown. So other than people who've been vaccinated, I don't know what's changed really.
No,
the financial infrastructure in, I think about 70% of people in this country is fucked. We're all completely knackered now financially.
Yeah.
The 2 years of COVID wiped out every bit of business and invested money that me and Penny had. So it's been quite a struggle, to be fair, from a business point of view.
Yeah.
So I had to go work with muggles.
Yeah, you have to work with normal folk
Go out and
now.
do a proper job. Do stuff. So it needs much.
Yeah. And you work in my old school as well, I believe. So.
Yeah, we best not mention the name of it. But yeah, I work in a school in Northampton.
Shot.
So it's a good school. It
was good when I was there.
Is what I found out. They said you were quite rough as a student.
Yeah, I was a little fuck. So I haven't changed.
But
I'm just a fat fuck now.
How can you be? You keep doing all these diety. Which one's the one you're on at the minute?
I'm not on nothing for 2 months. Hence, I'm fat again.
So what was the one you were doing before? I can't remember what it's called.
Keto for 14 months.
That was it.
Yeah.
Keto diet.
You have to be in the right mindset to stay focused, and I just lost it beginning of the year, and never really regained my focus yet. I'm still all over the shop, so not a good year so far for me. But hey ho,
No.
it is what it is.
So yeah, so sort of Wickham Warriors is we're doing all right now. We're sort of hopefully kind of gaining a bit of business traction, so to speak, by sort of finding more people.
It's
So
difficult, isn't it?
We've had a couple of psychic nights at Ryan's coffee shop in Boothville, which are good.
When is the next one? Is it coming
the next
soon?
one is the 22nd of this month, I believe. And that one, actually, we advertised that, and that was sold out.
Friday.
Because we only have 15 tickets because of the venue size, and it's quite a lot of pressure on me and Penny to do readings and read that much energy for so long.
For that quick as well. That quick.
Yeah, the first couple, everybody was sort of coming in, and it kept overrunning. Because once the energy's flowing, you want to just tell people what's coming through. Spiritually, it's there to help them. So we've curbed the numbers now to kind of keep it a little bit more intimate for one, and kind of working out the energy so it's a bit more fair on everybody, I think. So yeah, the next one's the 22nd. We're hoping to confirm another one. I get confused working out all the figures. So I've got to message Alex and go, right, explain to me how we're doing this again. So yeah, hopefully we'll have another date coming up soon there. Hoping to get another venue over in Rushden. A mate of mine owns a vape shop over there, and he's got a nice spooky basement. And when I say spooky, I mean it's been painted because it used to be a tattooist. So all across the walls and all downstairs, we all float down here and pictures of the It clown and creepy stuff and a girl with a balloon, and just it's really cool. It's really atmospheric to do a bit of, hopefully, some sort of mediumship podium work, which I've never done before. So I'd like to have a go at it and see what it's like.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, that sounds good, especially for a venue. Spookier the better.
Yeah, but other than sort of the Wickham Warrior side of things, I really enjoy my job. I do a behaviour mentor during the day, and the kids, I'm suited and booted, proper tie on. They don't realise the little Norse or pagan symbolism that I'm wearing, so they just see me as a normal muggle. So I'm then actually coaching them quite empathetically and spiritually without them even realising.
Yeah.
But I quite enjoy that. I'm trying to be the person I wanted to have been at my school when I needed help.
Yeah.
I wasn't a bad kid. I just had some shitty behaviour. And these are the same. They're not bad kids. They just have crappy behaviour and expected routines. They're expected to behave in a particular way because it's a routine for them. So I'm trying to break that a little bit. So
I think I need to borrow you from my youngest son. He's a little fuck at the moment.
My biggest thing I keep telling the kids is a couple of little mottos, which they're starting to repeat back to me now, which are, don't hit PONA, which is the point of no return. Don't ask what the E stands for. None of the kids have figured that out, that the abbreviation doesn't actually work. Point of no return, PONA. But that's where, if they're being told off or there's a sanction about to be issued, don't hit the fuck it button and hit the point of no return. Try the actual backing down, going, okay, I'm sorry, I'll make some changes, maybe move away from whoever's distracting me, or I'll think about my behavior. Am I acting emotionally? Am I being rational? And I'm just trying to break these little thought processes so they don't end up in some isolation room missing their education. And the other thing I tell them is, whatever you don't do now, you'll have to do later. So however shit you do in English, math, science, and your main kind of crux subjects, if you don't do it now, you'll have to do it later. So if you decide you want to be a plumber or a sparky or a carpenter and you want to go to Malton, you'll have to do an English and maths course alongside it because it's shit. Yeah. So whatever you don't do, you'll end up doing later. So you might as well take your thumb out your arse now, crack on with it, stop worrying about how your hair is and all that social media shit. Focus on who you're going to be in 5 years. Because a lot of them are like 13. And when you say to them, look, 5 years ago, you were about 8. You were just out of nappies. 5 years from now, you're a fucking grown-up. You're going to be able to vote and drive and drink and make loads of grown-up decisions. And you can't even sit in a classroom now and focus for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Who
shocking.
faults that? You've got to take, these kids have got to accept responsibility for their own shitty behaviour and understand it is separate from who they are. Do you get my logic? Because they feel backed into that. And I get the whole kids are stressed out and they have a lot to deal with and there's so much pressure. And fuck off. There was pressure on me when I was a kid.
Everyone's got
You know what I
pressure.
mean? Don't let a weirdo pull up in a van and talk to you. Fucking hell, I had to walk 3 miles. I know that sounds an old cliche, but the amount of, we still had creeps and fucking weirdos out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We still had crappy behaviour. We still had shitty education. So nothing's really changed. Just the process of how we look at it has changed. So I think we're a little bit too overly supportive at times with kids. We do need to sort of toughen up a little bit with suck it up, buttercup, and crack on. Especially when kids come up to offices. Where I've been stood in reception and they come up and they've got a tiny little graze on their finger and they want a plaster.
Yeah.
Like, what? Stick it in your mouth and lick it clean and bugger off the cat. You know, what are you
Suck
doing?
that blood.
If you can't put it in your mouth, then you need a bandage. And if you need a bandage, get some gaffer tape, some sponge, you'll be fine. There is ways of finding ways around getting out of doing stuff, and there's finding ways around getting to doing stuff. And sometimes they choose an easy option because it's the easy option. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's my little thing on. But I like working with the kids that are a little bit volatile, and it's quite funny sometimes when they try and slam a door on you and tell you they're going to bang you out. I'll bang you out, sir. What does that even mean? Show me what that means.
It used to.
And you're like, what? I can bang me out. So yeah. But they're not, like I said, they're not bad kids. They're just, it's bad behaviour, and their situations sometimes need a little bit of sympathy. And teachers don't always have the time for the kid that needs the time.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of the kids in the classrooms, I'll be in the class working with said 2 or 3 that are particularly naughty, and then there's the rest of the class are getting the work done. And I really try and make a point of going past the kids that have actually done all the work and commenting on how well that's been done and it's good, because I think we have this. We get the forgotten kids, or in the army they call them the grey man. You've got bad kids, the naughty behaviour. Then you've got the good kids who just get on with the stuff. Then you've got the kids in the middle who are struggling to keep both aspects of this going. Do you get what I mean? They're not academically brilliant. They're not really naughty. They're somewhere in the middle where they just coast through. And they get forgotten, and they don't get the same attention as everybody else.
I think a lot of that could be down to the teaching methods, though.
I mean, yeah, in the school I work in, even just the different teachers I see, they all teach with a different style in some ways, and their patience levels are different.
I know from when I was at school, and especially the good thing about social media now is one of the things that obviously we as older the generation get to see, people that we went to school with and how they developed. Like, I know some of the clever kids that I went to school with that did really well in school and were fine have now gone on to be total fuck-ups. But, you've got the generation that I always see, like you said, in isolation, being pulled out of class. They've actually gone on to do well. And yes, maybe because they're more of a kinesthetic learner, they're physical, but they've gone on to do really well because they can concentrate on different areas. And I think in schools this day and age, everybody's right. You've got to do the key skills. So you've got to do the maths, the science, the English and all that. But I think it's about the delivery and about the method of, yes, that child might struggle to concentrate for that set period of time. But if you make that learning more interactive for him, then he might understand. I know the thing is the ratio of children to schools this day and age is just expanding massively. So having that one-on-one time with a student is virtually impossible. Maybe I think a lot of the kids enjoy going to that isolation more because they get the one-on-time with somebody like you.
They get that's exactly what happens. They get quiet time to de-stress what's going on. I mean, some of them purposely will go there. I mean, there's a different room. They've got like a room kids can go to if they want to bail out of a classroom, like a timeout. I don't know I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like recovery or remove or something like that they can go to. And you've got members of like a pastoral team that will mill about and chat to the kids. But a lot of the time, even when I was a kid, it's what I was saying, the educational system's always been a bit shit. I always felt like an elephant being taught to climb a tree. The system I couldn't figure out, the sitting in classroom to learn that way, it all felt so alien to me. Hence, once I left school, I started more studying then, because you can dive down a rabbit hole and learn what you want to learn and see how everything connects. But kids nowadays don't see the value in an education. And why should they when, and this is going to sound pretty shitty, why should they when there is so many unskilled jobs out there for complete fucking morons who all you need to be able to do is potentially read a number, collate that with an eye or where it is in the warehouse, go and pick it up, put it in a box. And they'll use these people that have not got this high-end education to fill this gap until they build robots. And then when the robots filled it, people are going to have to figure out a way of generating a need for an education. Because at the minute, there's so many unskilled jobs out there that you don't really need it. You can read, you can write, you can talk a bit of basic, whatever language it is in whatever country you want to work in, you can go and work anywhere. It's only if you want to emigrate, you have to kind of declare you've got a skill or something. But if you're happy living in your hometown and you want to just work and live in your hometown, you don't have to have a high education for that. And most of the time, anybody who's successful, business owners, it's not what they knew, it's who they knew. Absolutely. So it's hard trying to justify to a kid, well, no, you should always do well in school. Why? Richard Branson didn't. Lord Sugar didn't. They were all fucking idiots at school. But that tenacity of not fitting in an educational system, they did fit in a business situation because, let's face it, they're probably a little bit narcissistic, which is why they couldn't get on in a school environment with all them other people. Now they're the king of the castle, the lord at the top. They can manage their own emotions and they're in control. But while we've got so much low-skilled jobs available, why do kids need? They don't see a value in it. Whereas you go to another country that's up and coming and trying to educate, like parts of Africa, the kids there, they get a pencil. It's the most important thing in their life. To get a pencil and be able to write some sums down in a book and learn the language is the most amazing thing they can think of. Our kids are having a shit tip and having a panic attack in the morning because they're being told to take their fake eyelashes off and tuck their shirts in. Do you know what I mean?
Just on that,
at the start.
Yeah, I've worked with people that have come from, we'll call it Africa. They've come over, they're like early 20s and that. They can read and write English. They can speak fluent English. They grew up with the traditions that we probably grew up with. Like they know how to iron, they know how to put clothes away, do the washing. They make some of our people, as it were, in our country that grew up here, live here, they put them to shame. And
they make them sound ungrateful.
They've travelled from another continent across the world, and they're doing the basic human things better than you are. In a different country for them, a different language for them, and they're putting you to shame.
But anybody who can speak more than one language is intelligent in my book. So anybody who comes over from another country to work here and can speak English fluently, bravo, you're more intelligent than me because I can only speak English and a bit of German. So learning a whole new language is moving yourself into a whole new social area.
Yeah.
It's such a challenge for anybody.
The diversity that we live in. That's one of the things that I appreciate most. You know, one of the pet hates for me is when you see the people that don't work and they'll say, I don't want to go and work in a factory with a load of Polish people. And I'm like, wait, but they're willing to do the work that you won't. Like, you're trying to slate somebody for working.
Yep.
Like, I see somebody saying,
somebody's sense of their own worth is greater than what the worth of society is.
Absolutely.
What value they think they bring to the society by putting Instagram posts and Facebook and YouTube, they think that inputs into society, but it doesn't.
No.
So they're tied up in a world that doesn't really exist. It's social media. It exists in the ether.
Again,
connects and rejects it all.
Yeah. Again, with the expectations of the younger generation, is the fact that, you know, you've got a 15-year-old girl walking down the street with £1,000 iPhone in her hand. You know what I mean? Maybe wearing £100 trainers to school. You know, God knows what else they've got. But they have no expectation of where it comes from. Like, I was in the queue this morning, Starbucks, right? I've seen school mum doing the school run with her kids, and she had two boy and a girl in the car. They're between like 15 and 16, buying them both Starbucks on the way to school. You've got to. God, if I would have said that to my mum when I was a kid, you just take us to a coffee shop on the way to school. Like, I need a coffee. I need a latte. I need
Get out the cupboard.
It's
it's like it's fucking mental.
I mean, how long is a child nowadays?
8? Not even that.
Yeah.
Not even that. By the time they can look at a screen, they're done, because they're going to become a victim of whatever's socially acceptable at the time. For me, it was Play School and Through the Square Window and all those sorts of programs. For this generation, it's programs that change screen every 4 seconds to keep their addiction to the screen.
Attention.
Watch how they run kids' programs. So, and we've been doing it. You know, they don't all run like stories. When I was a kid, I remember everything had a story to it, and little He-Man thing at the end would tell you about, you know, responsibly crossing the road. There was always some sort of message. Now it's just noise and lights with very little sort of structure to it. Well, I don't think there is. So, but anyway,
boys.
That's me putting the world to rights as far as the kids. And the other thing, I blame the parents.
Yeah, because it's easy.
100% blame the parents. That kid, you made that kid. That's a representation of you. If it's a bit of an arsehole, it's because you're a bit of an arsehole. Because kids can only paint with the colour palette you give them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great way of putting it.
So there we go. I'll have loads of rants now about parents going, you fucking,
Let's hope not. Let us know in the comments what you think about
what do you think? The kids I work with know I'm firm, but I'm fair, and I won't lie to them at all. I won't tell them something's good if it's not, and I won't tell them something's bad if it's good. So
that's the best way to be for them. That's what they need.
And I tend to sort of say to them things like, stop giving me excuses. Give me a reason. Give me a reason you can't do something. We can work with that. But give me excuses. It's just bullshit. Sorry, I feel like I took over for a moment there.
That's all right, mate. You're the guest. You could chat as much shit as you want, mate. It's all good. Oh, dear. Anyway, I have a little video to play you. You've probably seen it around the world recently.
Yeah, let's watch it again.
Let's just, before we touch on that subject. So, oh, fuck, I've moved it. Clickety click. Here we go.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Laughing.
Laughing,
yeah, he's laughing. You think it's funny?
Yeah.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard.
He knew that was going to happen. Didn't know that was going to happen, but he did.
Wow.
He did move pretty quickly, I think.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Yeah. So, discuss, boys. At the start, obviously, you mentioned.
In that situation, would you have done that? If you'd have been at Butlins or Pontins or some show and somebody on stage berated your missus, would you have walked up on stage and done that?
It depends if it was a comedy act.
In front of all of those people.
I get both sides, to be fair.
Yeah, I get both sides. But first point of call of that was he laughed first because he didn't understand the joke. You know for a fact he was laughing before the joke had even finished. So, and then he looked at his wife. And we all do that. All of us are guilty of, we are all guilty of then going, oh, we thought we got away with that. And then we look at her face and then it's not quite as we thought it was going to be. Yeah. So he then defended her honour. Okay. But was Chris Rock in the wrong? How did he portray that joke? Was it supposed to be the way he said it? Because I don't think he fully understands the whole head situation. It wasn't public
No.
knowledge until very, very recently that she had the condition.
Didn't she shave her head on Instagram?
Well,
As a,
but she's always
I
had a
believe.
shaved head. Always had a shaved head.
Yeah, she has actually. Yeah.
Yeah, always had a shaved head ever since the early days of like because she came into Hollywood. The only way she was introduced to Hollywood was with Tupac. That's why she
Tupac,
come
yeah.
through. Yeah, so she come through with him. Now, him walking up to him and doing the whole bitch slap, right? I don't think it's fully staged, but I think it took the attention off a lot of media that's going on in the world at the moment. And I think maybe that had a bit of influence towards it.
I don't agree with that at all. He's now he's had films stopped on Netflix, so he ain't gonna fuck up his paycheck.
Exactly. But it ain't gonna fucking be paycheck.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing with your fucking hood? Get your hood off your microphone. The other side. There you go. Fucking hell.
Professional show.
Yeah, what's that?
No,
What's a microphone?
Yeah. No, we've got...
It's.
I'm not sure.
I woke up during the night I looked on Twitter and I saw a tweet from Alex and it said, "Oh, Will Smith just punched Chris Rock at the Oscars," and I'm like, "What?" So then I went on further down Twitter and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? And I couldn't believe it. I'm still shocked when I watch it. That how can the biggest night of the Hollywood, scene around the world, and he's humiliated himself, whether you believe his reasons or not, to I defend my wife, that's fair enough. He could have just shouted at him from the seat. He didn't have to get up and physically assault him. If somebody else did that from the audience, they would have been arrested and they'd have been in a cell within 20 minutes. But because it's Will Smith, it's like, oh no, we can't touch him.
We can't throw him out.
That's money and power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They get different privileges. And
everybody at that event got a £75,000 gift bag, including holidays to the 2-week holidays to Bahamas and shit like that in there. Those events, they get nearly 100 grand each for being there in a little gift bag for them.
Yeah.
It's not real life. They live in a dream.
I heard about this gift bag, and they were in this gift bag. They were giving obviously all the expensive shit, but they were also giving plots of land in Scotland. So that in this gift bag with a deed.
Scotland.
Yeah, because Ricky Gervais jumped on to about the gift bags and about how much money goes into these gift bags to be made, because one person is directed to design this whole gift bag based on the theme of the fucking award ceremony or whatever. And the amount of you're talking Rolex is going to this gift bag, really £1,000 worth of skincare products and holidays and all that sort of stuff.
Or Apple products in there and everything.
Yeah,
Samsung,
air
Apple.
miles. And the last one, they were giving away plots of land in Scotland.
Someone's back garden.
I don't know. I think Hollywood itself, this whole Academy Award thing, over the years, all award shows have had their slanderous sort of terms. No one sort of
rich people to blow smoke up each other's arse. That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's what I think it is. That's what award ceremonies are. Oh, you've done really well. You can tell you've done really well. You've got millions of pounds in the bank. But no, let's give you a little trophy and a fucking handshake and a night for the day. You know what I mean? It's them trying to portray that they're not just actors, they're real people. And I don't understand why we give awards to things like this. Acting. How is acting a talent? We should be giving more awards to people who go over and build fucking huts where they're needed, or houses, or I don't know.
Exactly.
But anyway, back to that. My thoughts on as you guys know, I don't watch the news. I watch very little news, and the more I kind of catch it here is something I think, oh, I want to watch that even less now if it's mainstream media. But this one did catch my attention because it's Will Smith. And as a person that's followed him on TikTok for a little while and all of his grandiose ways of living and his advice, I find it very difficult that somebody can walk calm as you like and have at least 4 or 5 seconds to contemplate what they're going to do as they're walking up that stage and then still slap a person in front of all those witnesses in that environment. Just screams pure narcissist to me. That's not him being strong. That's him demonstrating how different he is to everybody else in the room. The awkward laugh at the beginning, it's what I class as a pre-laugh. When you're in a comedy situation, you start to laugh before the jokes really hit a punchline, because you're anticipating the person is funny person, it's going to be a funny joke, I'm going to be laughing, I'm ready, I'm already. Then when you realise what's actually been said, everything changes. But I don't think it was driven by her making him do it. Indirectly, it's more driven by him trying to prove to her that he can do it, as opposed to her saying, well, go and do that. Do you get my logic?
Yeah. Do you think that it was a cry for help from him as a way of release?
Well, yeah, because it's not the first time she's fucking manipulated him. What little bit I do know, and one of the last TikToks I watched with him on it was him telling everybody about managing your own happiness. Within a relationship, it's not up to the other person to manage your happiness, it's up to you to manage your own. And I kind of thought, well, that's a really disjointed way of a partnership. It doesn't make sense to me. If Penny's not happy, I mean, today, to be fair, she's found out she's got COVID today.
Oh.
So it's finally breached our wall.
We've had that.
Yeah, it's the first time it's been in this house. So that's a bit of a bummer. So no, Penny's happiness is important to me. So as a unit together, we do help manage each other's happiness.
Yeah,
so
you can't have one person really happy, and it's like, oh, I'm happy, our relationship's good. Well, the other person might be fucking dying in the corner.
Exactly.
That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
No, exactly. And that's what I thought when he said it. I thought, just because you're smart, intelligent, famous doesn't mean what you're saying is fucking true. Because you're just talking shit now. This doesn't make any sense. Unless I misheard it. And if somebody wants to put in the comments to describe how he actually means this logic,
that was
then
it.
Fine, do that. Tell me. But I couldn't see his logic.
I think his logic is down to his personal preference of their relationship. Is the fact that
he's a leg end.
Yeah, and if you're not happy, e.g. wife's not happy, she'll go out and shag her son's mate. Just like he will go off and allegedly, have an open relationship or be someone else. Although I did hear that Will Smith likes to take it out of the chuff. Just read it on the grapevine. he's a bit of a...
That's Niall's opinion, everybody, not ours. This is not the podcast opinion.
Doesn't make any difference to me if he's...
If
you're an idiot, you're an idiot. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is.
So going back to the start of this, when, like Niall said, when she started that sort of podcast, the Red Room, didn't she? Is it the Red Room? The Red Table. Red Table,
yeah.
On Facebook, it's a special show that she used to do from her house, and she used to get guests on. Now, from how it all started, they took in was it a singer who needed some help, and Will Smith, I believe, was mentoring him. And at the time, their relationship wasn't possibly the best, so she decided to fuck him, this young lad, in his 20s. And obviously, she said that she hadn't been happy for ages. She woke up every day crying. And Will Smith is sat here with her, obviously, and their 2 children. Now, for me, I wouldn't have sat there with my kids and discussing the internal relationships that I have with my missus or husband. No, especially the details that she went into. And you can see Will Smith, he's slowly dissolving as a human, as a man, because his wife is like, oh yeah, I fucked him, and he knew about it, And what if that was me? That went fucking everywhere in the world. And how does that affect a man when your wife is basically taking your balls and fucking spitting them in the garden?
Yeah, I know.
And so you don't need them anymore. But
I bet the reason they stayed together is probably to do with money, fame. So there'll be a business sense to it. It's not about the relationship.
They've built their brand. That's what it is. They've got the Smith brand, etc. And
they're trying to be the Becks and Victoria, aren't they?
Yeah. But I don't see that. I mean, not many people.
That's just my opinion.
Jada's not done very much to be concerned as them as a power couple. I think that whole Red Table instance kind of put her more on the map as a celebrity. She was, we know a lot of these older celebrities now are getting sort of, their appearances are getting less and less. And I just think that put her more. I mean, yeah, Will Smith's doing a film once a year, maybe. He's putting a couple out there now and again.
Yeah.
He's still the actor we all know and love. But
Yeah.
it's. I just think if they're willing, my phone, professional. If they're willing to put their whole life up for public scrutiny, right?
Yeah.
Blast it all over every platform going, right? And he's willing to walk up on a stage and, like you said, got time to think about the actions he's going to take before he can actually do it, and then connect, right?
Girlfriend.
I think people like that. This is what I mean. He bitch slapped him as well. He bitch slapped him. All things a geezer can do. You do not walk up publicly and slap another guy, right?
Not unless he'd walked up and said, "Sorry, this is from my wife."
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. No, you punch. A man punches. You don't slap. But had you punched him, would that have made the act more violent?
Yeah. I think so.
Well, but the thing is in the slap, right, is the fact that, first of all, Chris Rock made the statement, okay? Bearing in mind, he told the joke. People then reacted with the whole, woo. And then, obviously, he went up and did it. Now, I think Chris Rock's joke's bad enough, okay?
Apparently there's another meaning to it. It's not just about the bald head. It's some other reference to somebody else that he probably shagged, I think. There was some other reference hidden in there.
And that's it. But the thing is with the violence then takes over. And that's it. Chris Rock's the winner. Because Chris Rock's now the victim. Okay, so his joke was sort of sidelined. Okay, said something he shouldn't have said. Because the thing is, right, he wasn't like the presenter of the show. He was just somebody to come out and present an award. He come out and he started roasting people. He started roasting, but then Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
She made comments. She made a joke about Will Smith and his missus and about their open relationship. Now, nothing got said there.
No, it's because it's a woman. He ain't slapping a woman, is he? I mean, come on.
No, I'm not what I'm saying there, but what I'm saying is the appropriate side of controlling what you say, and then Will Smith to react into, okay, one joke too far, I've had enough, I'm going to go up and slap Chris Rock, right? Then violence then takes over. Chris Rock's now the victim. His ticket sales have gone through the roof.
Oh yeah, he's
and Will Smith's
going to have lots of films.
Will Smith's now on a cry for help of my career's about to get cancelled.
Well, they tried to take the award away, don't they? They've kicked him out of the academy or something, or he resigned, something like that.
And
I think that's a bit excessive.
Yeah,
because I also partly think, why can't a man walk up and smack another man? You should be allowed a 4-second rule. If you've got beef with somebody, you should be allowed 4 seconds to fucking sort it out. Whack, slap, punch. Right, okay, you win. Most things are done in about between 4 and 10 seconds. That's all men need to just sort their shit out. Have a rant, have an argument, done. But because that's the other part of this I don't understand is, why did he not fight back? Why did he not defend himself? The arrogant stance that Chris Rock has got with his hands behind his back is that confidence that he doesn't need to defend himself. His arms are behind his back. He's technically in a very vulnerable position. Everything's open. And he leans forward. So he wasn't expecting it, but he does react quickly when it arrives. But he doesn't do anything else. His arms come back round. You notice one hand comes back round. If you want to put it on again, you'll see it. As his arms come round, one hand comes round closed as a fist. Then he realises that Will's turned to walk away. It's not going to escalate. And his hand immediately relaxes, and then his hands go back behind his back. But if you watch his missus as well, her reaction of the pre-laugh to then the roll of the eyes, there is definitely something else that we don't know about that's going on in the background with that. There's got to be. This is not just about a shaving her head, because like you said, Mickey, she's been shaving her head for years.
Yeah.
She doesn't actually, as far as I know, have alopecia from what I've seen.
She does, apparently.
Oh, she has got it.
Yeah, that's why she was so upset. But apparently Chris Rock didn't know this. So.
But alopecia or not, if you've been shaving your head.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You know,
yeah.
It's just a bald joke. Basically, it was a bald joke.
Yeah.
Because she's bald and she's a woman.
For years. If he'd have been Ricky Gervais, he'd have got away with it. Because Ricky Gervais can roast people without it seeming personal. But Chris Rock obviously roasted Will Smith, but there was an element of personal.
He's done it before to Will Smith at another show years ago. Yeah.
But I do think the slap was a bit lame. If you're going to take all that time to walk up there and fucking chin somebody, chin them. Don't slap them with a piece of and then walk off like you cock at the door. What? You slapped him.
Second time he slapped somebody though, not punched, slapped.
Yeah. He did that bloke. He was trying to kiss him. Yeah. Trying to give him a kiss on the cheek. Yeah.
Like closed. You could have done a closed slap. That's quite painful. You get them knuckles across the side of the cheek. But no. He went full palm. And that just confuses me. It doesn't make any sense. And then to sit back down, get my wife's name. You're doing the pre-display, but you've already done the display.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? You can't do the strutting after you've slapped somebody. You've just de-strutted yourself because it wasn't as masculine as you were hoping it to be, if that's the case.
And that's it. If he would have just stood up and said...
Stood up and shouted at him.
Yeah. Not swore, because that's another big thing they're saying. That the fact that he swore twice added insult to injury to himself. Because he then, like you said, he walks away and still carried on the facade of, I did that. And I think his adrenaline kicked in then when he was walking back. I just think he thought, I've done it now. I've got to strike the match. Got to do it.
He's hit the fucking button.
So he then, if he would have just stood up and said, listen, I'm not having that. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. He would have then been the fucking hero.
Yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
He would have been.
Because he was on front row. He was on front row, so you could see him easily.
Chris Rock would have been done.
He'd have looked stupid, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Chris would have looked stupid.
He'd have been cancelled the lot because he would have been seen. But then violence always outweighs everything else. So everything else got wiped. Everything else got wiped clean. But then if it wasn't Chris Rock, let's say for example, it was I don't know who roasts these days. I don't know. Say it was The Rock, for example. Yeah.
The Rock. Yeah. He's slapping him.
Anybody, right? Any of the...
He'd have been clapping. Yay!
I think there was sort of a bully culture there because Will Smith knew he's bigger than Chris Rock, not just physically, but in that world, he's a bigger actor, bigger person. I am more known. Stature. Yeah. He took his advantage and said, right, I'm just going to treat him like a little bitch. I'm going to slap him. But then Chris Rock saved it though by the whole. Well, that was the greatest night in television.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there is another angle that you see from behind Jada when he's coming back from slapping him. She's there laughing and clapping, like, yay, he done it. And it's like it's a big joke to her. It's a big joke. So is she controlling Will Smith? She's the puppet master for Will Smith, I think.
To an extent, yes, she is. Whether she's doing it on purpose or not, or whether he's aware of it or not, but definitely, he's being manipulated somehow.
And
they live in a different world to us, boys. The thought of going to a party that gave me a bag that said 75 grams worth of stuff, the first thing I'm going to do is eBay the shit out of that. They probably walked in and just dumped it on the kitchen table.
Can I have another one? Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are in totally different worlds. Money changes everything. Everything. It changes how society works. It changes who is more powerful, who has more sway, who can get things done quicker. Money. It's all about money. And Hollywood runs on money.
Absolutely.
And it's all being broken into now. I think Hollywood's got its council cousin kicking its door in, which is Netflix, Amazon, and all these little TV companies.
Disney.
Hollywood's losing a grip on the filmmaking industry, I think. There's a random thought for you. There we go.
I think the dark side of LA, Hollywood, is all starting to come through. And it's starting to come through thick and fast. And I think
it's always been there.
They're all guilty of something in that world of
Well, the misogyny for a start for the last 30 years would be horrendous.
Yeah.
You've only got to speak to any woman that has worked in the film industry over the last 30 years. The chances are she's been sexually abused or harassed in some way.
Yeah.
And it's money, power. Power corrupts. Money corrupts.
I think it's a very dark world in there. I don't think it's as nice as people make out. I've watched a lot of backstage footage of people on sets and stuff, and it is not a nice place to be for the actors, for the staff, for anybody there.
There's constant paperwork and litigation. I mean, you see the Disney Channel. The Disney Channel, and this is one of the worst quandaries in my head. Disney has got to be one of the most corrupt fucking organisations on the world. It's got its fingers in everything and controls lots of different things. And there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding Disney. But I forgot what my point was going to be now. Oh, yeah. You've got all of that kind of, we're family nicey-nicey, and all the litigation that goes on in the background when they're ripping actors off. Like, for instance, the woman who played Black Widow, Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson, whichever one it is. I can never remember which way around they are.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. She's suing Disney because of contractual changes that Disney are trying to diddle her out of money. So there's constant litigation. So Hollywood's not about just making films and making money. The lawyers within Hollywood make money. Whoever writes contracts makes money.
Yeah.
Or they're all trying to stitch each other up and make sure they get the best bite of the pie.
Yeah, what they did to her when Black Widow come out at cinema, they also released it on Disney Plus streaming service at the same time at a price. So she was like, "No, it should." Huh?
I paid for it. I watched it. It was good.
Yeah, $9.99 it was at the time. Yeah, that's a good film. Initially films should be at the cinema because she said less people are going to go to the cinema, less records are going to be set, blah blah blah. People going to watch it, people spending money. And therefore, that affects her job, I suppose.
Yeah.
Who cares about a stream on Disney? You know. So.
But they've said about this, though, haven't they? They've said about movie theaters now, like globally, do not generate the income. You go to a cinema this day and age, they're dead. Like streaming services have that power now, where you don't have to, in the comfort of your own home, you can watch the latest movies. More movies now. Disney Plus is so guilty of it because. Soon as a Disney film comes out of the cinema, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Basically, right? It is, yeah.
It's on, right?
Yeah.
And they've said that all these streaming services are taking over. Am I doing it again?
Yeah.
I can hear it now. I can hear it. Sorry about that, lad.
Fucking dickhead.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll rise him up a bit. There we go.
Rise above, people.
Rise above it. Yeah, they've said about all these streaming services that are taking over that whole world of film and production and how expensive it is to send movies to the cinema, and they're not generating the income like they used to.
Don't you think didn't you spot the change a few years ago though with cinema? Everything was starting to go 3D, and then that didn't really take off as well as they'd like. So it was 4D. Yeah. Now it's what's the one with the massive screens that we've got at Rushden Lakes?
IMAX.
Yeah. They have to do something different because let's face it, most people nowadays who have got any kind of an income that's half decent can afford a half decent 4K TV.
Yeah.
So you can replicate that shit. You can have 4K at home and a surround sound system for not as much money as you probably expect it to be. Then why do you need the cinema?
Exactly.
What are they offering that's any different to what
I do like going to the cinema.
Experience. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't been to cinema for ages, but I do like. I used to go all the time. I used to like the fact that you go out with your friends or family, or whatever, go out to the cinema. So you buy all your food
and don't talk to each other.
Exactly. You buy all your food in Tesco first because it costs 20 quid a fucking hot dog. Yeah, you put it in your backpack. What's in there? Oh, nothing. My clothes.
Well, I was always in cinema because same as you, worked in care. Cinema was always at least.
Oh yeah, we always go cinema. Yeah, in your job and that. Yeah.
But I just don't think there's anything special at the cinema nowadays. Until they do something radically different, like 360 immersive or domed immersive, there's got to be something different for a cinema to work. Because now you can get cinema.
I think they're done. I think they really are done. They don't offer anything to people anymore. It's an.
Although this will burn itself out a bit, I think, because Netflix films are shit. The majority of the shite that they're bundling out, just because it's got Ryan Reynolds in it doesn't mean it's going to be good. It means it's going to be slightly funny, a good budget, but it's still going to be a shit film. He produced it. There's just so much crap. It's like
Adam
prime
Project
to throw their money at anything to get films produced, and that I think will affect, like you say, Niall. The cinema industry will be fucked by that.
Neil, they are. They're making films to Netflix now, straight to Netflix, rather than for cinema
how
in
easy
Hollywood.
is it to make a film? It's not as difficult as you. I mean, yes, if you want something like Avatar, fuck no, you ain't going to get to that level, or Avengers. But Mickey, you probably own enough equipment to pull off a pretty half decent mid-budget film.
Yeah, I could do that.
You only need one half decent sound recording and a couple of decent cameras, and you're done.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be anything complicated at all if you know how to edit and you can do that bit. So I think the simplicity of films is what's doing it, and we are just getting a lot of shite, and it's all political at the moment. It's lead females. It's everything's becoming about how many black actors there are, how many white actors there are, how many Asian actors there are, and there's got to be this. Somebody's sat in the background going tick tick and doing quotas,
tick boxing. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it all seems to be that if you can find a lead that is, I don't know, a black girl, you've ticked two kind of boxes. So it's amazing. It's not about the actual content of the film anymore. It's about showing that we're inclusive. And I get it that we need to see that in films for people to that can happen in real life. But some of the things we see in, I mean, that's my other point, actually.
Constant as well. Constant.
Why didn't she get up and slap him? You know, being going to be a feminist, why can't she go up and slap him?
That'd have been amazing, and there'd be no issue at all for that. She'd be like, "Oh, don't fucking take the piss out of me.
Yeah, take
I've got
my
disease
name out your mouth."
Yeah, exactly.
But would that have gone down okay if she'd have done it? Would the feminists say that's equality or too far?
I think they would have burnt her for it. I think.
I don't know, but he got burnt instead. So
well, yeah.
So.
She prefers that.
I know she does.
she would literally rather throw him under the bus. And the thing is, right, I was, again, like you mentioned about the Will Smith thing on TikTok earlier, I seen in something else about all these people, because obviously that whole slap's now going to be a whole new meme. And
it has been, yeah.
Oh,
it has been. And, Will Smith's had before
the fish slapping the zebra is my favourite.
Yeah. Before there was a meme about the red table when he was crying, and about when Kanye West had the
I've seen that.
The mental breakdown on stage, and he started crying, and then all these people, all these I'm going to say vulnerable men, but mentally they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that maybe, and this is my sympathetic side to him, not for the act itself, but more for the mentality of somebody like that. And I don't, I get it. You're rich, fucking paid to talk to someone and get over it. That whole thing, right? But all these men that are coming out now with that whole, actually it's all right for men to talk about their mental health, and it's all right for, but then you're putting your life up for public scrutiny. You are accepting these things to happen, and you're allowing. Yes, I fully accept men's mental health, but if you put yourself in that firing line, you're gonna cop it, just like everybody else out there. Big time.
But it's going to affect man's mental health. Is going to be affected if he can't act like a man. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that always bugs me. Is I'm quite an old school bloke. If I had an issue with somebody, I would expect to be able to walk up to them, have a fucking row, swing a couple of punches, and then go, right, I'm glad we sorted that shit out. Should we go for a pint? That's my generation. It was never dirty. Nowadays, you'd be cyberbullied before you'd get stabbed.
Yeah.
It's just insane, the logic. So I think, no, she should be called out for not handling her shit herself as the strong, independent female. Shouldn't be relying on a man if that's the logic. And he needs to man the fuck up. And if he's going to throw a punch. And then deal with the consequences. But I think it does stress men out more because we can't act like men. Yeah, we want to cry. Don't get me wrong. If you guys have never seen it, watch a film called The Martins. It's an old Lee Evans film, and it's just about a bloke trying to do the best for his family. It's medium budget. It's got an excellent cast, but it's such an emotional film. And I sat and bawled my fucking eyes out. But I can cry and be angry within balance. Do you know what I mean? I think we're told we can't act masculine and it's okay to cry. No, we need balance. I need to be able to punch shit out of something when I need to punch something and cry when I need to cry. That's the full spectrum. But then that's the same for women. There's no reason why women can't follow the same thing.
No, it's how society
I
directs
think
us,
it's a confusion. It's a confusion across all borders of.
That's because men are telling men how to act.
Yeah, how to act.
Yeah.
This whole way of, you know, we want men to be, you know, less masculine. We want them to be more sort of house husbands. Like, I know in my circle of friends, I know all men that cook, men that clean, men that fucking do the school run, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I understand it's not a woman's role to do all these things, but then when a man steps up to the plate to do these things, like you want to bring him down that peg to that little bit more. Like, yes, now he's under my thumb. He does the things that I tell him to do.
Yeah.
And it's like people are confusing the balance, but then I think men are also scared this day and age to be men, because to be a man,
I'm constantly worried every day that I'm going to say the wrong freaking pronoun to some kid.
Exactly. Or you're gonna you know, say the wrong thing in public, or you know, I don't know. I just see men this day and age bowing down and saying, "Shit, got to be careful. Don't end up in court." Right?
Yeah.
And I think there was a new divorce has changed now. There was a new thing today about divorce and how that's changed, about how the blame of divorce now doesn't take effect. So if you want to divorce your wife, you don't need to go to your divorce lawyer and say, "Yeah, it's
been there
she's
twice.
Had an affair." Yeah, she's had an affair. They're not going to say, "Right, we want you to go to sort of mediation counselling and that first to see if you can work things out." No, there's no blame culture there. It's we want to get divorced. It's a simple proceeding now, and I think
it's just stripped it back down to its bare legal proceedings.
Mm-hmm. So then, when it comes to the financial side of divorce, she holds the pussy and half of the money, just like everybody else, you know. So she wants to divorce you for no unknown reason. It can be done this day and age, and I think it's very fair in worlds that you can get divorced if you want to, but you don't have to do counselling, you don't have to have any mediation. There's no sort of long meetings about what's happened, what's caused the divorce, who gets half the shit. No, it's just done now. That's it. You can go and get divorced. Proceedings get started instantly.
Yeah, no, the first time I got divorced, it was very much like that. It was who's divorcing who was the kind of logic. The second time I got divorced, it wasn't. But both times I got divorced, I got stiffed. I got fucked. I didn't get the house. I didn't get the money. I didn't get fuck all.
And
every
all because
time I've got divorced, I've had to rebuild. As the man, I've had to do the rebuilding.
And all because you signed a bit of fucking paper.
Yep.
As soon as you sign that fucking form, you lose half your shit and your kids.
Yep.
I've always said that.
Yeah,
I always say it to people now.
I've said to you guys, you've not seen it on my channel. I was kept away from my kids for 5 years. That's how vindictive women can be when they really want to sort of throw some shit in a legal sense. So yeah, that was hard to deal with. But men's mental health, like I said, I agree with you, Niall, is we don't have clear definitions now of gender roles, but we don't have clear definitions of gender anymore. So we're going to have to, our generation, we've got to just adapt and change as best we can until we slide out the finish door and just leave these weird fuckers changing the world.
There's not a finish door. There's like,
and they'll bring it in change.
It's like all fucking different directions of a roundabout, and you don't know which one to fucking take. That's the problem in all of this, is the fact that don't be masculine. No, be more masculine. Help around the house. Don't help around the house. Oh, I can't do this because I'm a woman. Is that what you think? No, it's not what I said. All right, no, stand down. All right. It's honestly, it's like a man standing in a room full of people screaming and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're expected. The expectation of a man is different now. So the expectation of how man should.
That's where I think I'm quite lucky, because I'm with Penny. Penny's expectation of me is to be a man. So if there's going to be a shitty confrontational situation, Penny knows I am potentially going to be the one that steps in the way and goes, excuse me, what's going on? So Penny understands her role as the woman is to diffuse that as best as she can. And my respect of her means that would probably happen. So probably it would depend on the situation, admittedly. I might need to get one punch in at least. But that's the expectation. But now lads are growing up with a different expectation from the partners they're choosing. And I say partner because girl, boy, this. So much nowadays is defined by your sexual orientation than actual gender. LGBT, it's great. You've got an inclusive, you've got your own crew, you've got your own group, but where's the middle-aged white heterosexual club? Or is this it? That's what Dads Lads Kebabs is.
Yes, we are starting that revolution.
But they're defined by their sexual need, not their personal or spiritual need. Do you get my logic?
Yeah.
And that's from a young age. I'm talking, there's girls and boys that I'm talking to at schools that are either changing gender, their sexual orientations, and you think, well, you're not even actually fucking sexually active yet.
Yeah, how do you know?
How is this a process now where at 13, you're consciously aware you fancy girls or boys, but I might actually be asexual because I fancy intelligence? It's like, Jesus Christ, like somebody put a tick sheet in front of these kids and like, which one do you want to be? Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
We'll just tick them all out.
And that is the form across the board now of everything. Where do you want to be? And I think that goes to the ethos of why we started this podcast, because we are in that position now where we're getting older, but we're not that old. But we're in the generation that can still learn and understand about all of this stuff. But we're also in the generation that actually go, oh, okay, so that's what you're doing now, is it? Oh, okay. So that's what kids do these days.
Wankers.
Then we have to understand that, and we also go.
No, we don't.
Yeah, but the thing is, we are in that culture where we can be told off for saying the wrong thing, right?
Yeah,
if we were 60, they'd be like, "Oh, he's old. That's why he doesn't understand it." You know, like, when I was younger, when the older men used to call certain things, you know, and it'd be like, "Oh, that's what it was," and that passed down as a generation to me, where I'll be like, "Oh, that's known as the shop," right? And that's not even close.
Yeah, the corner shop.
Yeah, but that's what was passed. Yeah, that's a taught thing. That was a taught thing. Yeah. It's not something
that wasn't a racist thing, was it?
No,
it's just
that
what
was
it was
something I
called.
was taught. But the thing is, all these things now pass down to us, but yet the generation now are just it's like, right, we found a bit.
Offend
of freedom.
Me.
Yeah, they're writing their own rules.
The right to be offended, like. That's okay. You're offended, but now what happens? You're offended. So what happens? You've offended me. Like, and that's what I don't get about offence either. Is the fact that when someone says, "Oh, I'm offended by what you've just said," okay, so
I won't say it again. Then.
Okay, but you've offended me, and you've offended the people that I stand by. Okay,
here's a tissue.
Like, what do you want? What do you want to do about that? I understand that you're offended, but tell me why I've offended you by the vocabulary that I've used. You shouldn't be offended by my choice of words. You should just say, I don't care for your choice of words. It's mental. But
pussy culture. Everyone's a fucking pussy. That's my idea.
It's also, I think it's fashionable. It's a trend.
Of course it is.
When I was a kid, I don't know, and I'm 44. I think I'm older than you, Bear. But as a kid, I remember seeing things like, what do we call it? I can't remember his name now. It was him and his wife that did a show. They were like a double act. The Crankies.
Yeah, Jimmy Cranky.
And his wife was always played a small boy.
Yeah.
And then,
Jimmy Cranky. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got this sort of weird characters. Then you've got comedians that are doing a lot of drag and a lot of dress up. You've got Boy George, who was doing the flamboyant gay thing alongside Wham. And that's, as I grew up, I've watched it become more fashionable. So it's almost like you're more on trend, the more obscure your sexual orientation is or your fashion is. It's like the kids, they want to look individual, but they look like every other kid on Instagram. You're not individual, you're a sheep. And I think that's changed throughout the years. So it was bad to be gay. Then it was fashionable to be gay. Then it was dangerous to be gay. Now it's fashionable again to be gay.
Yeah.
And because that's been done and dusted, and it's kind of old news, we had to change it. Well, I fancy people because of their intelligence. Well, no, I fancy people because they've got one leg longer than the other. Or I fancy people because it's like, great, you've got your own flavour. Just whatever.
Crack on with your what. The thing is that nobody moves in silence anymore, and that's another thing about social media and the world that we live in now, is the fact that everybody has to tell people what they're doing, why they're doing it, where they're going with it. Like, imagine if people just moved in silence.
Like you, Niall.
Yeah.
You don't fucking put nothing up. Still waiting for my videos.
On Facebook. I only do stuff to do with the company.
Yeah, but that's to do with what you're promoting through, this platform. You don't, in your personal life, in your personal growth, I don't feel the need to post.
No,
I've stopped
posting.
I've stopped posting family photos of holidays and stuff like that. I've decided not to do it. I've stopped posting things about my personal growth, about what I'm deciding to do. If I'm going to go on a diet, I don't need to tell people about it. If I'm going to hit that gym a little bit more.
You're accusing me. I do that all the time.
But then this is a perfect example of why everybody's different. I understand now why people are blacking out from. I've seen a lot of people black out from social media over the past year and decided, actually, do you know what? Through lockdown, I've done nothing but scroll through Snapchat, Instagram,
TikTok.
Facebook, TikTok, like
or TikTok as it's called now.
I don't understand why,
It's on mine.
People say to you, "Oh, how come you don't post anymore? How come you don't, put things on?" I just don't feel the need to anymore. I don't feel the need to put my life for people's public opinion.
My other reason for doing this is I think my friends have got lazy. My friends very rarely will check in on me, and I think it's because if they can see stuff on social media, they know I'm all right. So, and we've done the same with everybody else. You'll sort of look at somebody and go, I wonder how they're doing. I'll have a look through their Facebook. Why? If you want to know how somebody's doing, send them a text message. But we've got so used to just checking up on them like a spy without them realising that we don't actually then make any physical contact.
Any contact, yeah.
So, but I come off Facebook for ages. I hate Facebook. It's just a cesspool of scammers more than anything else.
Yeah.
Every account's fake. But I only went back on it just purely to promote the Wickham Warrior stuff because we've got such a big fan base there. Bye, Niall.
Bye, Niall.
And welcome to the new version of Lads, Dads Kebabs.
We fucked him off. Where's he gone? He does this, he randomly just vanishes. And it's like, wow. But, he's back now. Fucking sausage.
Hello. That just literally just shut me off. Nothing happened. Just my webpage. My webpage.
I can't remember what I was saying now either.
Talking too much shit now.
Facebook cesspool.
Well, yeah, it is. Because I also get this, and it's possibly a bit of paranoia. I understand that. But for every picture, if I put something on Facebook, whether it's a personal thing or, I don't know, just a picture of a new fucking haircut or the fact that I'm now a specky, do you know what I mean? For every one person that likes it, I know that there's 3 or 4 that went past it, went twat. And that's just how my brain works. Because if people didn't engage, I know that everybody must have seen stuff because it's there. Facebook's forever putting shit on my newsfeed that I'm not that bothered about seeing. But so it must be doing that to other people. So I'm torn between a rock and a hard place. Where sometimes I think with Facebook, I actually want to create my own account to wind people up, to do it purposely. Facebook
so many people have done that.
It's so easy.
You can influence by just sharing the shite from the Daily Mail or the Sun newspaper. You create your own clickbait Facebook page.
Yeah, it's very easily done. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
The discussions. Well, on that note, slagging off Facebook on that one, or Meta, or whatever it wants to be called, because that's the thing. Everything's changing.
That's its own pronoun.
It's just tax, and they wanted to change some contracts to do with GDPR or use of information somewhere. The reason they changed that is not from a business; it's purely from a litigation point of view, so they can fuck us even more with the information they gather.
Absolutely, information's worth money, right?
Definitely.
But on that note, people, thanks for joining us on this great show, and thanks for coming on, Alistair.
Yeah, again. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And
first returning guest.
First returning guest.
Am I the first guest to do 2? Yes.
I'm the first guest originally. So.
No one else will come back.
I love it on it. I love a good social debate. It's good.
Oh, it's good. It's healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
But thanks for joining us on another show of Dads, Lads Kebabs.
You're welcome.
Hopefully Niall will stick around.
And if you get a chance, everybody, have a look. Check out Wickham Warriors.
Yeah, I like the hat. Yeah, we'll put your link in description to go check out your new merchandise.
Yeah, I've set it up through a company, but it's an American one. So I'm trying to source a British one, which I think I've found one. I found one in Bournemouth because I can't get beanie hats. For the life of me, I cannot get a beanie hat.
I get mine from eBay, from a company. I just keep sending them the stuff, and they just make them. Yeah.
Search on eBay, best for them, and having them to make.
No, can you just send me the details? Send me them over.
Where's he going? Yeah.
And I'll contact them and see how we can do it. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, listening, whatever you're doing, and we will see you next week. See you later.
Bye.
The Dads, Lads and Kebabs podcast is available to listen and download on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Podbean, and all other podcast platforms.